Get the latest news and keep up to date with information about SOBA America on SOBA America TV.
You're tuned to another broadcast of SOBA America TV network. Thank you and welcome. We shall begin this broadcast with news updates on matters pertinent to SOBAs. Right after that, our health focus is on erectile dysfunction. Yes, let's talk about it, and let's speak with a professional to get her take on it as well. Our feature presentation is on immigration. We would examine the newly enacted immigration laws to see how they affect you and me. Perhaps you will learn a thing or two. In our community, our world, we're going all the way to the Carolinas, where some Sobans have come together and put their talent to work and serve their community. We hope that this will inspire you to do same, give back to your local communities. That is, if you're not already doing so. In arts and culture, we shall broadcast the second episode of Consequences. Did you miss the last one? Don't worry, you will catch on pretty quickly. Con men, Yahoo boys, now transformed, using their talent for a greater good. The action and the storyline will keep you spellbound. And if you don't have your popcorn already, go right ahead and grab it. There is much to get. As usual, we would end the broadcast for this month with an address from the SOBA America President, distinguished Dr. Bertrand Forte. Like I always say, sit back, relax, and enjoy SOBA America TV.
They are the gracious gift of the Most High God, who, while dealing in anger with us for all our sins, has nevertheless remembered mercy. It has seemed to me fit and proper that they should solemnly, reverently, and gratefully acknowledge us in one heart and one voice by the whole American people. Abraham Lincoln, October 3rd, 1863, as he declared a proclamation for Thanksgiving. Together, he said, citizens would implore the interpositions of the Almighty hand to heal the wounds of the nation. SOBA America TV network joins the people of Canada last month and those of the United States on the last Thursday of this month to celebrate Thanksgiving. It is November 2019. This is SOBA America TV network broadcast. I am your anchor, Emmanuel Takusi. Please stand by for our news update. Welcome back. The Meet the People tour is one of the ways that the SOBA America President, Dr. Bertrand Forte, connects with Sobans in their various localities. That way, the priorities and activities of the organization is in sync, at least for the most part, by the desires of its members. Last month, our servant-in-chief, as he prefers to be addressed, was in Oklahoma City. Our correspondent, Divine Tange, has more to this story. Divine?
Thank you, Emmanuel, for our feature story today. President of SOBA America, Dr. Bertrand Forte, on Thursday, October 17, kicked off his Meet the People tour with a visit to SOBA, Oklahoma, during which the members of SOBA, Oklahoma held a special election. Of SOBA, Oklahoma were delighted to have President Forte visit them. President Forte offered words of encouragement to the chapter and pledged the support of the national leadership team to help the chapter continue to grow.
Work together as a team. We cannot and we should not agree on everything. If we agree on everything all the time, then there's a problem.
He thanked outgoing President Egwemba for his leadership as a pioneer president ever since the creation of SOBA Oklahoma less than 4 years ago. SOBA Oklahoma is a young chapter, and unlike the other chapters of SOBA America, has a unique challenge, which is that most of its members are students who constantly move out of the state at the end of the studies. President Egwemba was proud of the fact that his chapter is a breeding ground for young Sobans. So during the elections, Soban Boris Ngwese was overwhelmingly voted as the president-elect of SOBA Oklahoma. SOBA America TV caught up with the president-elect, Mr. Ngwese, who shared his vision with SOBA America TV.
National Soban has been doing a wonderful job, and I want to copy, I want to follow the footsteps of Soban, national Sobans, and I want to say the greatest thing in life does not depend on where we are, but in what direction we are heading to. So in that light, I want to work with the national president and with the other take the best practices of other branches, so that it makes SOBA Oklahoma an excellent branch too.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. You've heard it, the president of SOBA Oklahoma in his first interview. Congratulations once more, Mr. President.
Thank you.
The outgoing president of SOBA Oklahoma, Mr. Clinton Egwemba, also shared a few thoughts with us.
So within SOBA Oklahoma, one thing that we've been able to foster is a unity that exists within our members. Members from all specters of life, from all backgrounds, from all walks of life. We have people who are students, we have professionals, we have entrepreneurs within our organization. But they were able to come together under one umbrella, SOBA Oklahoma. And that's something I'm really proud of.
Now, the elections of Soban Ngwese as the president of SOBA Oklahoma marks the beginning of a new era for the chapter. President Forte, who was on hand to witness the elections, promised Soban Ngwese that the national leadership team of SOBA America will work closely to promote the well-being of SOBA Oklahoma. Reporting for SOBA America TV, this is Divine Tange.
Thank you, Divine. The Forte administration announced in a recent press release the creation of a national convention organization and management process. Listen to this report by our very own Pascal Sama Babbitt. Pascal?
Emmanuel, this administration continues its path for the greater good of SOBA America. By retouching and restructuring certain administrative processes, the administration continues its effort to strengthen SOBA America within its core. One such example is seen lately with a new and improved system in place for the management of the processes that governs our SOBA national conventions. In a press release on November 14, the administration have a list of implementation designed to improve the quality of our SOBA national conventions. Here are a list of them.
The first major step is to improve the quality of organization at SOBA America national conventions. The Forte administration is emphasizing the need of the organizing secretary of SOBA America to continue to play an active role along with the national convention czar. The second step by the Forte administration to improve the quality of SOBA America National Convention is the task of better accountability and transparency. The Forte administration requires all major approved convention-related expenditures greater than $1,000 to be invoiced directly to SOBA America and will be paid directly to the vendor by the SOBA America National Treasury. The third step to improve the quality of SOBA America National Convention by the Forte administration is to provide a better experience for Sobans, patrons, Sobanese, and other stakeholders at the convention gala. The fourth or last major step by the Forte administration to improve the qualities of SOBA America National Convention is the implementations of timely motions. In order to improve time management, personal enrichment moments, and efficiency of business speakers at the SOBA America General Assembly Convention, the administration is implementing that all motions to be discussed at the General Assembly must be submitted by February 1st.
Emmanuel, why the Forte administration expect everyone to submit their motion for discussion at the General Assembly by February 1st of each year? I want to point it out that the President of SOBA America reserved the right to make exceptions. What does this mean? This means that the President can allow a motion to be submitted after February 1st if that particular motion highly serves the interests of SOBA America. Reporting for SOBA America TV, I'm Pascal Babitsama.
On the 27th of September, the SOBA American nation lost Soban 1768 Kolo Emmanuel. He was laid to rest October 26 in Buffalo, New York. Listen to this report by Nathan Takusi. Nathan?
The cold death struck our SOBA family once more. On Saturday, October 26, 2019, SOBA number 1768 Emmanuel Kulu, who died on September 27th, was laid to rest in Buffalo, New York. The highly emotional funeral was held at St. John's Baptist Church. It was heavily attended by family members, friends, and well-wishers. SOBA Kulu's son, who was a preacher, celebrated his father's life as he preached to mourners. He shared his father's journey and life lessons learned from SOBA Emmanuel Kulu's accomplished life. After the funeral service, SOBA Kulu was laid to rest as family and friends said one final goodbye. His 5 children, 27 grandchildren, and 2 great-grandchildren watched in grief as their dad, grandfather, and great-grandfather was lowered into his grave. A celebration of the life of soccer legend who made news back in the days at SJC Sasse followed the repast. As you can see, SOBA Emmanuel Kulu was giving up a fitting goodbye. May his gentle soul rest in peace with the Lord. Reporting for SOBA America TV, this is Nathan Takusi.
Thank you. Our lives move in a frenetic pace. Pinned beneath the weight of our professional careers and personal responsibilities, we are constantly battling stress and fatigue. The National Convention presents an opportunity for Sobans to exhale and calibrate the upcoming year. It also serves as a time to add value to the organization as well as for Sobans to reminisce good old times at St. Joseph's College, Sasse. What a form of therapy. Dr. Forte once again acted on his campaign promise to improve the organization of the National Convention. He was recently in Dallas, Texas, the home of the 2020 convention. Our correspondent, Kangu Chepanu, has more to this story. Mr. MC?
Our very own President Bertrand Forte acted on his administration's promises to improve on the organization and the smooth running of our national convention by visiting SOBA Dallas and taking stocks of the progress made towards our 2020 SOBA National Convention. This convention is scheduled to run from May 22nd through May 24th of next year. In a 2-day visit, the president had the opportunity to visit all the convention sites and held several meetings to that regard. Here is how his October 18 and October 19 meeting in Dallas went down. Take a look.
President Forte's walking visit started with a tour of the 2020 National Convention site, the Dallas Addison Marriott Quorum, by the Galleria. He met with hotel officials who updated him on the negotiations. Convention Chair Emeritus Frederick Itoy and Convention Vice Chair Soban Edwin Daniel Ndoko gave the President a tour of the hotel facilities and amenities. He took a look at the Friday night event hall as well as Saturday meeting and gala venue. President Forte was satisfied with what he saw. Chairman Itoy and Vice Chair Ndoko then took the President to the park where the Sunday barbecue and tennis event is scheduled. The President toured different corners of the park, asking questions about safety concerns of the event site. He was delighted to learn that SOBA America will be the sole occupant of the park during our barbecue. President Forte ended his first day with a visit to the pier where the Friday evening all-white boat ride will depart. He commended the Dallas Convention team for a job well done. On Saturday, President Forte met with the organizing secretary, SOBA Dallas President Paul Foban, and the rest of the 2020 National Convention leadership team. He challenged the team to organize a community service activity for SOBAns to engage in during the convention weekend. This will help boost SOBA America's ability to take advantage of the multi-million-dollar nonprofit industry both in the US and Canada and raise funds for our philanthropic activities. He also highlighted some of the administration's initiatives to ensure better organization of our national conventions so that SOBAns and patrons can enjoy a remarkable experience. SOBA America TV asked President Forte to share some thoughts on his visit to SOBA Dallas.
Mr. President, what are your impressions after traveling to Dallas to visit the sites of the 2020 conventions? What would you say is the level of preparedness in Dallas?
I'm very pleased by what I saw in Dallas. I was able to go through to see all the different locations for the convention, and I must say Dallas has done a good job and Dallas is ready, and I'm happy with what I've seen, and I look forward to a wonderful convention come May 2020.
You held a meeting with the members of Dallas, the chairs and all that. What was discussed, and were you guys able to come to an agreement on how certain things will run better?
So we had a very good and productive meeting with the leadership team for the Dallas Convention Committee. We talked about some changes that we will be making moving forward in SOBA America so that our conventions will really be a lot better organized. I'm happy with the response that I got, and the team has pledged to work with the leadership team to ensure that we can get these things done. We will be announcing some of these changes in the next near future, but I'm glad we're making some progress.
So, is there any other message you have to tell the members of SOBA America about Dallas Convention and any other thing which you want to emphasize, or given the speed and all that? Any other last message about this you want members of SOBA America to know?
I want SOBA America Nation to know that we are making some serious changes in the way we do business in SOBA America. And the Dallas team has stepped up to the plate. They have listened to the call from SOBAns, and they're moving ahead. I mean, we are only in October and we already have all the venues for the convention. This should be the gold standard. This is how we should be doing business moving forward. And I'm excited. And I hope SOBAns are excited also. And very soon, like I said, we will start selling tickets, start getting ready for the convention. So fellow SOBAns, Dallas 2020 is going to be amazing. And I can say, from what I've seen, visiting the sites, visiting with the chapter, I'm impressed and happy.
Okay.
The president left Dallas very satisfied with the progress made by the Dallas Convention team in securing all the convention sites in record time. He thanked the entire Dallas chapter for working effortlessly to make this happen. He reminded them of the expectations and expressed great confidence that Dallas 2020 will be a great success. Reporting for SOBA American TV Network, I am Kangu Chepanu.
SOBA Montreal is ending the year 2019 on a very good note as its membership grew to about 20 members. Preparations are wrapping up for the celebration of the annual Love Fest in December, which is a come together for all SOBA families in the area. This year we will see a difference in style with the introduction and handing over power to the newly elected bureau. Soban Emmanuel Asanji has been chapter president for SOBA Montreal for the past 4 years. On December 17th, there was a general election and Soban Albert Seko and his elected team will run the affairs of SOBA Montreal for the next 2 years. Ms. St. Joseph continues to guide Sobans and their families. SOBA America just concluded its 2019 mini convention in Phoenix, Arizona that took place November 15th through the 17th. We will have more to those stories on our subsequent broadcasts. That concludes our news update for this month. Please stand by for Health Focus.
Welcome to another edition of Health Focus on SOBA America TV, where we discuss health and wellness topics which help stimulate our minds and build a healthier SOBA America and Cameroonian community as a whole. In today's edition, we will discuss sexual dysfunction and in particular erectile dysfunction. In order to better understand what erectile dysfunction is and what are some of the causes and solutions to this problem plaguing many men over the age of 40, SOBA America dispatched one of its reporters, Bendrix Tabu, to the field to find out a little bit more what are the causes, symptoms, and solutions to this problem. Greetings, Bendrix. Where are you, and what can you tell us about erectile dysfunction and some of its causes?
Greetings, Mafani. I was at the androgenics clinic in Webster, Texas. I was there with Miss Ruth Auer, who is also the founder and owner. She is a nurse practitioner specialized in hormone therapy. While I was there, I asked her what erectile dysfunction is and how one gets to know that they're suffering from it. Here's what she had to say. So, Miss Auer.
Hi.
Like I told you on our phone conversation, this is a hot topic amongst us boys.
I know.
And what we talk about for the most part is erectile dysfunction.
Right.
But you told me you define this differently. How do you really define it?
So I like to talk about erectile dysfunction under the umbrella of sexual dysfunction.
Why is that?
The reason why is because I like to include everybody. So I think when people, get so focused on erectile dysfunction, the woman is put aside. But when you talk about sexual dysfunction, then everybody is included, both the man and the woman, because it's something that everybody suffers, regardless of what gender that you are.
I see. That makes a lot of sense. So we're putting everybody into this.
Right.
Now, how does this affect people? How do you know that you have a condition like that?
Right, so for the men, it probably sometimes will be a lot more about the erection. A man might have erectile dysfunction, which is pretty much a condition where a man cannot have an erection that is strong enough for sexual intercourse. Some other men might experience an issue where the erection doesn't come fast enough or doesn't last long enough.
Now, I think for men it's a little more obvious than not. Now, I want to know how women would realize that they have
a sexual dysfunction. Absolutely. When it comes to women's common symptoms of sexual dysfunction could be maybe vaginal dryness or maybe pain with sexual intercourse, or sometimes not even having the desire at all to want to be intimate with their spouses or significant other. And that's a problem when you don't feel the desire to be sexually intimate.
I am sure that's a tough one.
Very interesting, Bendrix. So what do you do if you notice you're witnessing some of these symptoms? And more so, are Africans in particular open to discussing sexual dysfunction issues and erectile dysfunction issues when they visit this clinic?
I did ask her what the symptoms are. And based on my experience, more importantly, I wanted to know how African couples handle this issue. Here's what she had to say.
A lot of people don't want to talk about this.
Absolutely.
Maybe it's because I'm just a man, Joe on the street, but do they feel comfortable to talk to you?
You know, ironically, it's not just about people not feeling comfortable talking about this with their spouses at home. Even within the professional arena, we run into patients that have these issues and are not comfortable talking about it. So, again, patients might have trouble talking about it with their wives or husbands, but even in the offices, patients usually will come in, talk about everything else except that. And the only way you know is when they're about to leave your office and they turn around and ask for a prescription for Viagra.
So tell me, that's a funny one.
Mm-hmm.
So they come in
Mm-hmm.
and then they talk about everything else.
Yeah.
And then at the last minute they drop that one.
We see it all the time. This is something that is so common.
What then is the everything else that they're talking about?
I mean, people will come in, maybe we'll talk about maybe weight loss, talk about high blood pressure, cholesterol problems, and then, erectile, enhancement or erectile dysfunction is something that affects the home. It can cause, problems with, marital, problems and stuff like that. And usually people come in and they don't think they need to talk to us about that. But most people will talk to us about it walking out of the door when the visit is almost over.
So you would assume that they'll come back for a second session or second visit, and then they will really get into the details of it.
Right, and sometimes they call on the phone and say, hey, by the way, doctor, when I was at your office, I meant to talk about this. And maybe the reason is because up front they feel embarrassed to talk about it. And it's not something that people should be embarrassed. It's something that is it's very important, and I think if you're having issues with it, you should talk to somebody about it.
Now, is this could this be a psychological problem or a physical problem?
Absolutely. When it comes to the causes of sexual dysfunctions, there are different reasons why somebody might be experiencing a sexual dysfunction. Psychological is one of the issues that could be involved. People that suffer from anxiety or depression or sometimes even stress. When people are stressed out, intimacy becomes an issue. So that's one part of it. But medically, there can be other underlying medical conditions that could be causing sexual dysfunction.
I see. Well, that's good to know. So therefore, people shouldn't feel down about themselves. It could just be a heart condition that you're suffering from.
Absolutely. It could be a high blood pressure problem. It could be diabetes. It could be cholesterol problems. So sometimes taking care of these issues can also help with taking care of sexual dysfunctions, especially for the men. Usually some people, who have diabetes that is uncontrolled can have issues with erectile dysfunction due to nerve damage.
So the demographics of the people that visit your office, what is it per se? What kind of people are you getting in here more?
I do see a variety of people, but to be honest, I'd like to just be honest about the fact that I don't see a lot of people from the Cameroonian or African community. I see a lot of Americans, and when it comes to race, it's not about the race. I see a lot of Americans, Caucasians, African Americans, but Africans, I don't see a lot of them coming to
Why? Is it that they're just not suffering from this? Or?
I don't think so. I think it has to do with people not being comfortable talking about this in our community. It's a topic that is almost like a taboo to talk about. And I do feel some people feel embarrassed, thinking that if they disclose this, maybe they're less of a man or less of a woman. And that's what it is, I think.
So, what are the treatment methods for sexual dysfunction and erectile dysfunction in particular?
Great questions. Before I jump into that, I think it's important for me to highlight that couples often find it quite challenging to own up to any sexual dysfunction. And it is even more difficult for an individual in the couple to acknowledge responsibility. And it does happen that sometimes a part of the couple will call in and consult on behalf of the other. They would say something like, well, I believe my husband or my wife is suffering from a sexual dysfunction. Now, even in cases where they come to consult together, they end up in a heated debate, and Ms. Awa sometimes uses her expertise and her professional skills to mediate and make sure that they live in harmony. Now, I have to say that, I do encourage our couples out there to be comfortable and discuss their issues or health conditions freely with professionals like Ms. Ruth Auer. As concerns treatment methods, here's what she had to say. So what are the treatment methods that are very common to you?
For the most part, most men do seek, treatment in regards to medications like Viagra or Cialis. But again, when it comes to treating erectile dysfunction, I think it has to do with what the cause is, because again, there are different causes for it. So if a patient is experiencing maybe uncontrolled diabetes, then it will be an issue of trying to treat the diabetes to take care of the erectile dysfunction that comes with it. If a patient is experiencing a sexual dysfunction due to maybe they're being overweight, there may be some lifestyle changes in regards to dietary recommendations, or maybe exercising can help with that.
Now, tell me about hormone therapy.
That's a good question, Bendrix. A lot of what I do here, I do a lot of hormone testing and hormone balancing for patients with hormonal imbalance. One of the causes of erectile dysfunction is hormonal imbalance. And a lot of people working out there do suffer from hormonal imbalance, but a lot of people don't get or seek to get treated for it. So patient can get their levels tested and get the numbers adjusted. It can take care of the sexual dysfunction as well.
I'd like you to emphasize again, or say reiterate on the methods of treatment that an individual or a couple can utilize at home to resolve this kind of problem.
Well, in regards to treatments at home, if someone is having issues with maybe being overweight, then maybe couples can decide to go for walks together. It can be a time when they can also bond and just talk about life stuff, and at the same time get their exercise routine in. So exercising, eating right, these are simple stuff people can do at home.
Diet and exercise.
Absolutely, without necessarily coming to a doctor's office.
Wonderful.
Bendrix, what does a clinic uniquely specialized for sexual dysfunction and erectile dysfunction look like? I'm sure we have many curious viewers who would like you to give us a peek of what this clinic looks like inside.
I was equally curious when I got there. Now, this is Androgenics in Webster, Texas.
Okay, welcome to Androgenics. We are a hormone and wellness clinic, and I will just do a little tour of our clinic, just so you know what it looks like. So this is the sitting area, where we have the patients waiting while they get ready to get into the room and meet with the provider. Little reception area right here where the front desk staff sits and welcomes all the patients. And if we can walk down this way, and I will just show you our rooms. So we have 5 exam rooms, and they go from 1 to room 5. And in the rooms, we have a little table here, 2 chairs for the provider and the patient, and have little supplies here, where we get blood drawn and all that stuff. And I will walk to the other rooms. We have room 2 and room 3 that are pretty much similar to room 1. And then we have room 4 right here, and room 5. And in room 5 and room 4, we typically do minor procedures here, So in here we'll do, you know, little surgical procedures for patients. So it's a little bit different than what we have set up for room 1 and room 2. And I'll walk you to the back for you to see what we have in our lab area. So we have a lab room here, and this is where the medical assistant usually sits, and where blood is drawn, and does her little notes and all that stuff she does to help me out with what I do here. And over here is my office, and pretty much this is androgenics.
Thank you, Bendrix. I think we have exhausted the most common questions our viewers sent.
Thank you too.
Thanks for watching another edition of Health Focus on SOBA America TV. Hope you enjoyed this edition. Keep sending your proposals for more health and wellness topics you would like us to cover. You can send in these proposals to info@sobaamerica.org. And attention, Health Focus. We are here to serve you. Have a wonderful day. For SOBA America TV, reporting from Dallas, Texas, Mafani Itwe.
You know how to do all that mixing? And she's puff mix. And she's puff mix.
I created Auntie's Puff Puff Mix 6 years ago. I did not have any time to do another YouTube trial and error recipe. And I was like, why is there no mix on the market? And so that's how Auntie's Puff Puff Mix was born 6 years ago. And since then, it has been an instant hit. It will make your kitchen the center of attention. And what really grabbed people's attention was the instantaneous mix. But what kept them coming was the delicious taste. I mean, it is perfect sweetness, perfect savory taste. It is crispy on the outside, fluffy on the inside. It is just delicious. And so right now, Puff Puff is the it factor.
Welcome to this month's edition of our Community Our World. I'm your host, Tony Mbwakwo. Engaging in community service or volunteerism provides Sobans with the opportunity to become active members of their local community and has a lasting positive impact on society at large. Volunteering enables us to acquire life skills and knowledge, as well as provide a service to those who need it most. In this month's edition, we highlight SOBA Carolina's Community Service Project. On August 10, 2019, SOBA Carolinas, led by President Ngale Divamongo and COO Tom Ashu, volunteered at the Second Harvest Food Bank in Charlotte, North Carolina. Members worked with the staff to sort out and package food items that will go to feed the hungry.
This is SOBA Carolina Community Involvement in the City of Charlotte, Second Harvest Bank. SOBA Carolina members giving back to the community.
Sobans spent several hours at the food bank cracking jokes as they served their community. They joined other volunteers who were also present to lend a helping hand. According to Mr. Jim Thomas, the warehouse manager for Second Harvest Food Bank, the work that members of SOBA Carolinas did during their volunteer activity will help feed between 600 to 700 families in the Carolinas. He thanked SOBA Carolinas for giving back to the community through volunteer service.
Let me know when it's on.
Yeah, it's on.
Thank you very much, Chuck, for the work that you do here. This is amazing. People. Tell me a little bit about the mission of this.
Well, we are a food distribution. So we take it for people like y'all guys to come in, volunteers to help us out. We sort through everything. Then we in turn, we have 700, close 600 to 700 partner agencies that we
Giving back to a community is a noble thing to do. Of course, the benefits of volunteering for those receiving help are clear, but sometimes we fail to realize just how important volunteering could be for the person doing it. Volunteering gives you a sense of purpose, builds self-confidence, and it's a great way to connect with others.
The Forte administration is challenging every chapter to do at least one charitable event annually. The First Lady is also working on an initiative for SOBA America to do a charitable event at our annual national conventions.
While the benefits of volunteering are always evolving, there's one thing that will always remain true. Volunteering changes lives. Thank you for watching. I'm your host, Tony Mbwabo. Please join us next month for another edition of our community, Our World.
You mean they could just arrest and deport you at any time?
Only when the judges ruled against me.
So what are you gonna do?
The court date is still 2 months out.
And have you hired a lawyer?
They help if you have a case. I don't.
There's gotta be something that you can do.
You know, deportation is always a good story. Thank you. Anyone here today?
Benefits of running corporate accounts.
Nice.
So, what did you say?
I'm willing to do anything, but my options are limited.
But I don't want you to go.
What if we got married?
You do that for me?
I'd do anything for you. You'd have your papers and we could be together. Is that a yes?
That fast? There's more. What did you say?
Yes, Kathy. Let's get married. What's wrong?
I should have told you sooner. I have a husband.
You have a husband. Are you getting a divorce?
Well, he won't let me. I didn't know how to tell you. But it's okay. I want to be with you.
How are we supposed to do that?
Well, we just take him out of the picture.
Hold on. She really asked you to kill her husband.
We could hire someone to do it. Help me help you. Him and I haven't been husband and wife in a very long time. All he does these days is other women and stupid investments.
Other women and stupid investments. That's how we get them. We need to find more people. Yeah. We reach out to Mo. Is Eminente available? How would I know? She's your ex. Exactly. We need her on this one. Why can't you ask Isabel? She stopped doing this a long time ago. Trees change their leaves, not their roots. Stopping doesn't change who we are. Ask me that, please. This is a man's world, but every man knows that women make this world go round.
Eminente made my world go round. We bonded over our love for fighting for the little guys and our dislike of the establishment. The good old days. We broke up because...
What do you think that means?
Yeah, hiring?
Yeah, according to the owner, he wants help. Free help. Doesn't mean he's hiring.
How'd you get away with that?
Desperate people who can't call the authorities. He owes her around $80. Yes, you came here for $80. I can give it to her, but it would have to...
It has to be his money. Got it. Quick change?
Yeah, thanks.
Got you.
Not anymore.
Just a figure of speech.
You don't have me.
We're gonna have this conversation right now.
You brought it up.
I'm just saying.
Hi. How are you doing?
Good. You have a bus car?
Yep. $5?
Yes, $5.
This. Thank you. I gave you 100.
You give me 20.
No.
Yeah,
I
give me
did.
20.
Can you check? I'm pretty sure that I wrote what I needed on the money. There. Water and aspirin. Thank you. This is for the headache I'm about to give you. I know what you're doing. And I'll be watching you. So, what's the project you guys need help with?
We need to kill a man so Tito can marry his wife.
Got my duffel bag and a pair of gloves, heart full of love, and my God above. Shoes on my feet, not a thing to eat. You can find me on the street. You can find me on the street. Blue skies above, green grass in the park where I sing the day away by the wishing well. Young children running.
Welcome. Let's talk immigration. It is unique amongst immigrant groups. You see, the transatlantic slave trade began in the 15th century when Portugal and later other European kingdoms expanded to reach the continent of Africa. It is estimated that about 10 to 12 million Africans were transferred to the Americas in what was later known as the Middle Passage. It was in fact the second of the three stages of the transatlantic trade involving Africa, the Americas, and Europe. 1619 saw the first African slave in the British colony of Virginia. Seemingly, it is paradoxical that Africans were forced out of their homes, away from their resources, by a few for economic reasons. And today, the Trump administration is propagating laws that will prevent Africans from coming to the United States for economic opportunities. Notwithstanding, if you happen to find yourself within the United States borders and you are running away from political persecution from your home country, making a claim for political asylum is one way in which you can adjust your status. According to U.S. immigration law, a person granted asylum is legally allowed to remain in the United States without fear of deportation. They qualify to work, travel abroad, and apply for their spouse or children under the age of 21 to join them. The Trump administration announced rules that immigrants coming from Central America who have passed through other countries en route to the United States border will no longer be able to make a claim for asylum beginning July 16th of 2019. His Royal Highness Michael Fonungala, a Soban of the 1980 class, who doubles as a traditional ruler of his people in the diaspora and attorney at law, have been practicing law for the past 19 years. He was recently contacted by SOBA America TV crew at his Minnesota residence.
Thank you, Your Highness. Who is Michael Fonungala as an attorney?
Yes, I've been practicing law since 2000, so this is my 19th year of practicing. I started practicing out of law school. I hung on my own shingle and I started practicing, and my first case was an immigration case where a family came to me. They had a son of theirs that had been arrested in Atlanta on his way back from Cameroon. I'd used somebody else's green card to be coming to the country, and they told me to go get him out. So that's how I got into immigration. I did not take immigration in law school. I didn't really want to practice in that area, but the realities of the practice of law took me to immigration. So I had to study it and I had to do what I needed to do for that family. Luckily, I won that case, and that's what made me go into immigration. So I've practiced immigration law all along. I do have a partner, Pamela Kigam, that we've been working with. I've moved a lot of my immigration practice to her. About 10 years ago, I picked up on employment law. So I've been doing a lot of employment law, discrimination issues, termination issues that people have at work. And I'm building a niche practice in representing federal government employees, especially those who work at the Department of Veterans Affairs. I'm representing doctors there in Des Moines, Iowa, and Minneapolis here, doctors who are being removed for incompetence in their practice. Their privileges to practice medicine is being revoked. So I work with them at the administrative process and, if possible, in federal court to try to defend their practice. I also do some other accidents for people who have been injured in accidents, then litigation generally, contract issues. So I'm very much in court. I practice before the EEOC, the Merit System Protection Board, Disciplinary Appeals Board, federal courts and state courts, doing things relating to landlord contracts and various litigation issues of that nature. So that's what I've been doing.
What are the changes of the current immigration law as pertains to asylum, and what other aspects will you like to highlight?
Yeah, there have been a few changes that the Trump administration has implemented and are trying to implement, given the influx of immigrants coming through the southern border to try to get to the United States to seek asylum. So one thing Trump has done is that he has been working with some of these southern countries to get agreements with them to prevent people from passing through their country. So the law that he has passed, or the regulation he has passed, is that anybody trying to seek asylum has to seek asylum in the first country where they arrive. So that way it prevents them from coming to the United States. That's why you're seeing a lot of people trying to go through the high seas and through treacherous territory. And we've had some deaths of a lot of people, including some Cameroonians who were trying to make it from Ecuador by sea or by river to get to Mexico. So avoiding that first country rule that Trump has put, so that they can seek asylum when they get to the US border. So that's one thing that they've done. Now, a second thing they've done is that for those who successfully make it to the border and seek asylum, and they get to immigration court, most of the judges, because some of these rules have been challenged in court, most of the judges are not even granting the asylum. They are granting something that we call withholding of removal, which basically is a lesser status than asylum, and makes it difficult for you to become a green card holder. So that's one thing that they are doing, which is making it difficult for asylees. The other piece is that it's been difficult to get bond, so that these people can be bonded out when they are in detention, especially if you have any kind of criminal background. They are going to hold you in detention until the case is processed before they can release you. Before, it used to be easy to get bond for people who were arrested once you put in the application. This is not happening now. So that's what's happening at the border and the changes that Trump is doing on immigration. The other piece is that with all of this influx in the southern border, we do not have enough immigration judges in the southern border states. So they're trying to get in immigration judges, some of whom are not even qualified, to try to speed the process. And some of you have heard, seen in the news, there are all these children who are being held in detention and families are being separated. Again, these are all strategies that Trump is using to make it difficult for people to enter this country and seek asylum.
Are the new restrictions by the Trump administration in conflict with existing law?
Yes, under the American Constitution, immigration laws are supposed to be passed by the Congress. But then under the laws, there are what we call regulations, which is done by the executive. And the Department of Homeland Security is under the executive. So what he's doing is using regulations, just like Obama did with DACA. That was for deferred people who had come here and kids who had come here on their under no fault of their own and were in this country. So Obama decided to use regulatory powers to keep them here for 2 years and give them work permit that was renewable. So the president has the powers to regulate the immigration laws passed by Congress. So it's that power that Trump is using. So it's not much in conflict, but then advocates of immigrants have been challenging these laws. Most of Trump's laws are hung up in court, awaiting this decision on whether he abused his executive authority in some of the regulations he's passing. So that's the only way we can fight him. But he does have powers to regulate how those laws are implemented.
What are the key changes that affects immigrants?
Yeah, they're trying to expedite some of these hearings, which makes it difficult for immigrants to be able to put their documentation together. You know, if you're fleeing a country, you're fleeing because of persecution, you do not have a lot of the documents that you need to prove your case. And if your case is being expedited and it's taking just weeks for you to be able to put your application, that makes it difficult. The other piece is, again, lack of judges, as I mentioned. So without judges, they are having a lot of these hearings via video feed, that a judge is somewhere in Washington and hearing a case in California. Again, that credibility will lose the human touch right there. And most of these asylum cases are based on credibility, whether the judge believes you or not. So sometimes determining credibility goes with body language and whatever is happening in that environment, and how the person is telling the story. If you're sitting in a distant place and watching it on video screen, I don't think you're getting the real effect and feeling how credible this applicant is. The other thing that they've been doing again is limiting the discretion of the judges to be able to issue asylum outright. We're seeing a trend where most of these cases are not, the judges are not awarding asylum, they're awarding withholding of removal, which is a very difficult status to be in because it doesn't really allow you a path to becoming a permanent resident and ultimately becoming a citizen. So, and some of these cases now are being appealed. Now, with the backlog in appeals and the backlog in immigration courts, the whole process now is becoming slower for people who are released and are in the community. We have cases that are taking 3-4 years before you get your day in court. Even though people may have work permits and continue to work, but that again is a level of uncertainty that doesn't really bode well for most of the immigrants who are coming. So those are the things that are happening in immigration court now, especially to the Cameroonian cases. They're seeing a lot of Cameroonian applicants. So the burden is higher now on most people to prove their cases. Now, just because of the situation we have in Cameroon, most people qualify for asylum, but proving it is very difficult. And they are demanding more documentation, they're demanding more things to prove it. And as we all know, sometimes it's difficult to get these things from Cameroon. Now, the other piece that I'm seeing is, this has been historic, a lot of the documents that are coming from Cameroon, they don't trust them, given the fact that you can do any kind of document in Cameroon. So the one caution I want to caution people who are coming is that make sure that your documents are correct. It's better to not have documents and lose your case than to have a document in there that is not genuine with that kind of documentation. And if the court finds that it's not genuine, they'll rule that you were trying to defraud the court, and that makes it difficult for you to get any kind of appeal or do something different to be able to get status here. So people should watch out for what kind of documents they're putting in there. I still believe that with your good story and what happened to you, and people who can support you and corroborate your story, you do not need a lot of documents, and people should not be going through extraordinary lengths to try to find documents that are not genuine.
Okay.
So long as there is no political and economic stability and freedom in developing societies, countries like the United States will always be faced with challenges of people coming in illegally. It is in fact a natural phenomenon that people always quest for better living conditions. It will in fact cost the American taxpayer less money if this 116 Congress and this White House can come together in ensuring policies that will get rid of all the despotic regimes out there and transform their communities into democratic ones, rather than relying on political symbolism and platitudes that is revealed in the support of building of a wall. Thank you for watching.
My fellow Sobans, greetings. I'd like to start this month's message by bringing you holiday greetings from First Lady Laura. On October 14th, Sobans in Canada celebrated Thanksgiving, and on November 28th, Sobans in the US will be celebrating Thanksgiving. On behalf of First Lady Laura and the National Leadership Team, I'd like to wish you and your families a wonderful and blessed Thanksgiving. I thank God for the wonderful brotherhood that we have in SOBA America, and I hope and pray that it continues to grow stronger every day. This past November 15th through 17th, we gathered in Phoenix, Arizona for our mini convention. I'd like to thank all Sobans who made it to Phoenix for taking time to come and have a discussion about SOBA America. I'd like to especially thank President Bokosa of SOBA Arizona and all Sobans and Sobanese of Arizona for the wonderful and warm welcome that you gave us, Sobans. We felt at home in Phoenix and we had a great time. Thank you. We also had a good conversation about SOBA America. We discussed our administration's plans to ensure improved management and organization of our SOBA America conventions. These initiatives will ensure that Sobans and our patrons who attend our convention will have a remarkable experience. I look forward to the next convention in Dallas, where we will start implementing these new changes, and you will see the difference. A few months ago, our administration announced our SOBA America Business Directory Initiative. The goal is to have businesses owned by Sobans and Sobanese in a directory so we can share with Sobans and the world. That way we can improve exposure to these businesses. Sobans celebrate each other, and Sobans need to patronize each other's businesses. But we can only do this if we have that information. So if you or your Sobanese own a business, consider sending us that information today to info@sobaamerica.org so we can include that in our SOBA America Business Directory. Vice President Gassa has asked me to inform you that we will extend the deadline for submissions to December 1st. I thank you for listening. I hope you have a wonderful and blessed day. May St. Joseph continue to guide us all.
Fellow viewers, that's all we have for you in this broadcast, and we hope you enjoyed it. Like us on your favorite social media, Facebook, YouTube, and what have you. Share with your friends and family. We would also like to hear from you. Drop us a line and tell us how we're doing. If you have a product you would like to advertise, you can contact us at the addresses and numbers on your screen. Once again, we enjoyed doing this for you, and we hope you enjoyed spending time with us. Until next time, I say a warm goodbye from the SOBA America TV network crew.
Bye.